Over the past few years, I have built a very successful mentoring and coaching business and a dream life I was once dreaming about, and I'm still growing. And I tell you what, the way wasn't always clear and it wasn't always smooth, and it definitely wasn't always easy. But I kept growing. I just kept stepping into the next level and, of course, stepping also into the next identity. In the capacity of me being a mentor, a coach, I was working and was helping and seeing a lot of other entrepreneurs. Some of them were having the same or even bigger dreams than I did. Some of them were having smaller dreams than I. And some of them really reached their dreams in a fast and more speedy way than I did. Some of them were circling around and some of them were staying stuck at where they were 5 years ago. And seeing this all over again, two things really came clear to me. Number one, growth really depends on the quality of questions you ask yourself and is not dependent on the strategy, on the capacity, on your skill set, on your competence or money you have really to grow your business. And secondly, growth doesn't happen in quantum jumps or is not linear or not exponentially. Growth and expansion happens in cycles all over again. So first, okay, what kind of questions do you really need to ask to grow? And secondly, how does growth actually happen is what I wanted to cover in this lesson. And as a third bonus, I'm also talking about what is really hindering most entrepreneurs to really get what they want or why they keep stuck. So let's dive in. So the most obvious question almost all entrepreneurs start with is the question, okay, what do I need to do next? And it makes really sense because we were trained like that in the school, in life, that if you want to reach something, well, if you have a goal, right, you make a step plan, a milestone plan, and think about it, what is it I need to do next? And that's fine. Yes, we have to move and we also have to do things. But asking this question or this question at first really brings you into the smaller context because it lets you think based on your current identity. The current identity, which was formed from your past, from your experiences, from the bullshit story you were told by parents, by schools, by fellow entrepreneurs and so forth. So it's really bringing you into the position of, okay, what can I imagine right now and what feels safe now to do? So this question of what do I need to do next comes more from the logical. So of course, you have to post more, you have to show up more, you might have to create a content plan, you have to create a simple offer or more offers. And yes, I mean, this kind of works, but you are still capped in smaller context. And if you really want to grow and want to reach the goal faster, you're telling yourself, well, then I have to do more of that what was working. So you begin to increase not the magnitude of the things to do, but you increase the level of intensity you do this. You post more, you work harder, you are more stricter. And what it really brings you that is that it doesn't really let you grow and expand, not as a person, not in life and not in business, but really lets you exhaust and to burn out. Because the question, what do I need to do next, is not bringing you forward, but keeps you stuck in the current identity. So the question, what do I need to do, is not the answer you should start in the next phase of expansion. But which question really moves the needle? It's the one question. It is, what if the life I'm dreaming about is already true? So you're not asking that question from your current identities, but you move yourself into the future, assuming, thinking, feeling as if the life you're dreaming about has already become true. You start to think not in the limitations from your past, but you are more open. You widen the context. You see more opportunities. You think beyond the ordinary limitations you were used to have. But you really ask the question, okay, if this is true, who do I need to be? What has to be there? What kind of boundaries do I have to set? How do I have to show up? Or how do I need to run my business? What kind of people are in my life? And which people do I need to let go? So it's really the question of, what if this is really true? What are the circumstances, the environment, the identity, who I need to be? How do I need to show up? So it really opens the capacity and really brings you into the state where you envision your future with clarity. And then you can ask yourself, what is the next step I can now take to move and to bring me forward to that desired vision? So it's this question, what if, which really makes a huge impact. And only after you have answered that question, then you can ask yourself, okay, what is the next step? And here's the thing nobody really wants to talk about. It's the fact that growth is not happening in quantum leaps or quantum jumps or exponentially, or this is how you go faster. No, growth is actually happening in a cycle which feels safe in your body, safe for your nervous system, safe for your mind, so that step by step or cycle by cycle, you increase the trust in yourself, trust in your abilities, and that from cycle to cycle, you envision faster. And here, this is how it goes. So you envision with clarity the next step, you embody it fully, and then you expand with ease. So let's dive in. So in the envision part, we have in a way already captured. So you need to envision, of course, your big goal, but bringing it forward to the next phase. And I'm usually doing this in a 2-month phase. So if my vision is there, what are the requirements and what can I work on? What are the next steps I can work on in the next cycle of 2 months? Which brings me further to my mission. Who do I need to be? How do I need to show up? What needs to be changed in my business, my habits, the branding, the lot. So you're really clear on the next moves. You do envision it with clarity. And then comes, of course, not only making the plan, but you need to embody it. You need to embody it fully. So what kind of habits do you need to implement? What kind of mindset shifts do you have to make? What kind of changes in the branding and the resonance and the frequency you're sending out to your customers do I need to work on and implement? And then, of course, once you embody it, you feel that the expansion gets easier. And expansion meaning you're up leveling your baseline, what is natural. Because out of a sudden, the expansion with ease means that it feels so natural to increase the prices. It feels so natural to make new offers. It feels so natural to also attract new customers, not by pushing, not by paying marketing, but just stepping into that energetic resonance field of the person knowing exactly how to lead and what he is going to achieve. And doing this in this cycle of envisioning, embodying, and expansion, then you realize that the baseline is step by step increasing, and that what was once feeling like out of reach becomes your new normal. And the more often you do this cycle, the higher your self-trust is in yourself, in your capabilities, and also what you can do in your business, so that by cycle, the steps you're implementing get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, so that overall you're growing faster, life expands in a much easier way, you're getting more customers, more money is coming in, not by forcing, but by pulling. But here's the thing nobody really wants to talk about loudly. And this is also what I do see a lot with my customers, is that they know the steps, they envision the future in clarity, they embody it. They know exactly what to do, how to show up, but the expansion bit, really working on the business and really doing the steps, they are not going all in. It is like they are, telling themselves, the 80-20 rule still applies. So 20% of the effort creates 80% of the output. But growth and expansion doesn't work like that. You have decided to expand your life, your identity, your vision, your business in a next increment. And this is not a 20% work. This is going all in. So a lot of entrepreneurs are then just not giving it all. They are staying stuck in the middle, not really going to the next baseline, but somewhere in between, so that they are doing just enough to feel that they were doing something, but not everything, risking success or failure. And this is, it is like they are keeping a joker in the pocket, the joker of, I know, if I would have given everything, it would have worked. So it's kind of an excuse they keep in their pocket in case it is not working right. And for sure it will not work out because you're not going all in. But the reason they are not going all in is simply because they fear first that they are going to be successful, because going to be successful means they really need to increase the baseline. But this new baseline sometimes comes with more responsibility, more visibility, more deepness, more money, more changes, more limitations, more boundaries. So they fear the next identity level, or they fear, of course, failing, meaning that, yes, I've given it all, but I failed, that they have to talk to themselves in a negative way, saying, okay, maybe I'm not meant for that. Well, you will not succeed if you're not going all in. And secondly, there's nothing like a failure, because even if you are not reaching your destination in the first iteration, you at least learned something which you can apply in the next round. Because this is growth, this is identity-led growth, this is expansion, this is adaptation, however you want to call it. So if you really want to grow, start with the question, what if the life I'm dreaming about is already mine? And then dive into that. Sit with the question, okay, requirements, what are the circumstances? And then really think about the next step in a next iteration. Just one step. You're not capable of doing everything, but just one step which moves the needle, and then go all in. If this video landed with you, then give it a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe so that you don't miss any new videos. And if you want to see my other channels on where to find me, then check in the description and see you in the next video.